Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today we are going to talk about a new topic, and that is Tafkheem and Tarqeeq, the rules for heavy and light pronunciation. In Tajweed, letters are pronounced either with a heavy or bold sound or a light or a softer sound, depending upon specific rules. This affects how we shape the sound in our mouth and the tone of recitation. First, we'll talk about Tafkheem, which is heavy pronunciation. Tafkheem means to pronounce a letter in a thick or a bold voice, as if the sound is filling your mouth. Letters with tafkhim are usually called mufakham letters. And then tarqiq, which means to pronounce a letter in a thin or a lighter voice, keeping the sound sharp and narrow. Letters with tarqiq are called muraqqaq letters. And then there are certain letters which can be both heavy and light. There are three letters in the Arabic language that can be pronounced both heavily and lightly, depending upon the context. Ra, Lam, and Alif. Now let's go over each of them. Alif. Alif follows the vowel of the letter before it. If the letter before Alif has a fatha, the Alif is read with tafkhim. Qala, Sirat. If the letter before Alif is light, and it has a kasra or a dhamma, alif will also be light, though this is less common. Then lam. So you might have noticed that the name of Allah has two different ways. Sometimes we pronounce it with a fuller sound, Allah, and sometimes we pronounce it with a lighter way, Billahi. So, yes, you guessed it right. If the letter before lam has a fatha or a dhamma, the lam is pronounced with tafkhim. And if it has a kasra, then the lam is pronounced with a tarqiq. So for example, we say Rasulullahi, then radiyallah, and lillah. Now let's talk about ra. The pronunciation of ra also changes based on vowel before it, or sometimes based on its own vowel. When the letter before ra has a vowel, if it is a fatha or a dhamma, ra is pronounced heavily. If it's a kasra, ra is pronounced lightly. Arsh, irji'i, turja'un. When ra itself has a vowel, if it has a fatha or a dhamma, then it's going to be heavy. If it has a kasra, then it's going to be light. Rajulun, wal anhari, ruziqu. If a tanween comes before ra, the same rules applies. If the sound before ra ends in fatha or dhamma, ra is heavy, and if it ends in a kasra, ra is light. So that's all for today. I'll see you inshallah again in the next lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.